Hey, what is up guys? So today we're going to be talking about Pendulum summoning in the game because it's not really seeing any play, and some players were like, Azneyes, you way overhyped Pendulums and they're not going to be that good. They wouldn't release a new mechanic if they weren't going to push it and eventually make it really strong. And it is new, so we have to wait and give it some time before we get those other Pendulum archetypes, which I will briefly talk about in just a moment, which is going to be something new coming out into the OCG. Now in the TCG, meaning over in basically America, we don't have the Pendulum mechanic out yet. We will very soon, but once we get some of those, it's kind of like a brief introduction. We'll kind of understand how to play them, kind of like how Utopia, Granosaurus, and was it number 17? Was out in the game. No, Gachi. Those were the first three. It was Gachi, Granosaurus, as well as Utopia. We got a brief introduction to them, and then we started getting the really insane ones like the Zen Mighty, and then the loop started happening. That's going to happen with Pendulum summoning, without a doubt. There's always players that figure out really crazy combos. Sometimes the combos are already generated for us, like Spellbook of Judgment, hands down, was just a really bad or poorly designed card. And I feel like the whole Pendulum mechanic is slightly on the same side of that argument, where it's just a really bad mechanic. But the thing is, if you can Torrential Tribute at the right time, you can definitely just win the game because your opponent used all of their resources and you completely stop them. However, Pendulums can keep on coming back because if they're face up in the extra deck, you know, once per turn, spell summon as many cards as you want, basically. And that can be really nasty to run into, and that's the new archetypes, which we'll briefly talk about, like I said, in a moment. But let me go ahead and address some of your guys' questions and comments regarding Pendulums in general. First off, Konami does not pay Azneyes to overhype stuff. That would be counterproductive. If they really wanted to spend money in order for them to make more money, what they would do is simply just release cards that are so insane out of some, you know, structure deck. They'll be like, okay, we're going to release a structure deck, and you need to buy 3 of these, and this card is going to be insane. Like, everyone has to play it, or you can't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's not really a card that's like that as of right now. I mean, there were times where the Dragon Rulers basically dominated the entire format, and if they released the, you know, the tins to have the Dragon Rulers, that didn't really essentially promote the Dragon Rulers. What it did was it promoted people to buy more packs so they can actually pull the Draco Sacks and the Big Eye, because that's what essentially ran the deck. Those are the expensive cards in the deck. But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way because some players think that for whatever reason Konami pays me to overhype stuff. I do this completely on my own and through my own experience and playing against some of the higher rated players on DevPro. I kind of just more watch on Dueling Network because you know, rulings do happen on Dueling Network, and sometimes it's hard to get an admin in there. So let me go ahead and actually talk about the new Pendulums that are actually coming out into the game and why they're going to be kind of relevant in one sense, but I don't think that they have enough support as of right now. So these are the new archetypes. They're called the, I don't know what they're called. They're probably going to be called something related with the shells. They are called, it's spelled Qliphoth. Cloth. I don't know, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. It's probably some other foreign pronunciation that I'm just completely slaughtering. Don't bother with this translation. Basically what they do is you can normal summon these cards without tributing, and then they become 1800 for their attack. That's just what they do. And then there's one of them that makes it so all your opponent's monsters, they lose 300 attack. I think it might be this one over here. The attack power of your monsters on your opponent's side of the field by 300 down. I know the translation is bad, but it's early. They're going to be coming out into the game, and they all have the effect where you can only special summon those type of monsters. So you can only special summon the Qliphoth monsters, the Quat monsters. I don't know what they're called. Like, they'll probably be changed. I think they're shells is what they are. They're seashells. I mean, how sad that is that to lose to seashells? But I mean, technically in the TCG right now, we are losing to cakes and, you know, other things that, you know, from the Modolches. But that said, oh, by the way, all of them will be coming back into the game because basically, if you guys didn't know, once you destroy Pendulums, they go back face up in the extra deck, and then you can just resummon them the next turn. So it's going to be, I think, the playstyle of the deck currently, and we don't have any XYZs or Synchros announced for them, but I think the playstyle is basically go in, if they die, just bring them out next turn, and they have decent attacks. Some of them have like 2800 attack, and remember, there's that card that I talked about where it makes it so your opponents, they lose 300 attack. So being able to just keep on bringing out monsters, and your opponent just runs out of they're just run out of back row, essentially, and then you're going to win from that, essentially, is, I think, the playstyle of it at the moment. Again, we don't know what XYZs we will be seeing in the future, but basically I wanted to talk about when this game, when new mechanics get introduced into the game, they have to be very light. We have to get a small little introduction to them, and then they will just be there, and they will be the powerhouse, because there would be no incentive for Konami to be like, you know what, we're going to release this new, you know, card for people to use, this new type of cards, or this whole new mechanic in the game, and then have it be completely trash. Now, that's not the same with saying an archetype, because this is technically an archetype too, but this archetype might just fall off. But the thing is, they will eventually make something good, because that will introduce to the players that you want to play the new archetype or the new the game mechanic, because it would be pointless to introduce a new mechanic and have no one play it. For an example that we can use would be something like in Call of Duty Ghost. In the very beginning of that game, no one really used submachine guns in competitive play. It was all about the, what was it, like the Remington, I believe it was. In the very beginning, it was always Remington, Red Dot, and then with muzzle brake. That was pretty much everyone really used. And then from there, they were like, you know what, no one's really using these other things that we introduced in the game. Let's make players play them by buffing them. So they will release, instead of Yu-Gi-Oh! Buffing, you know, cards or rotting cards, they just release new cards using that mechanic that will actually make us want to play them, whether it be something super overpowered or not. But I felt like this video was needed because a lot of players were like, pendulums are bad, I'm never going to play pendulums, or I quit the game because of pendulums. But, you know, more than likely you'll just come back at a later format where you can actually understand how to play them, because that is one way that you can lose if you don't know when to recharge a tribute. But it's usually at the time when they go for everything. But sometimes you want to wait and make them go for an XYZ. You want them to use some of their stuff out of their extra deck, because if you torrential tribute immediately and you don't have a follow-up play, next turn, guess what's going to happen? They're going to special summon all that stuff, all the pendulums at least. The other monsters that they, you know, special summon from their hand, they might not be pendulums, so they might not come back, you know, to be that reoccurring nightmare that you're going to have with 5 monsters on board. Basically, pendulum mechanic is used to swarm, and it'll eventually be, you know, we'll release stuff that is, you know, eventually good for that. But anyways, I just wanted to address that video really quick because, like I said, a lot of players think that Asian Eyes gets paid to overhype things. It's not true. I wish I did. Even if I did, though, I would probably be honest with you guys, because I probably couldn't do that because I just feel like too much of a scumbag. It's kind of like one of those, you know, channels that's like this, favorite this, and then you have a chance to win something. That frustrates me so much when it's just like, you know what, they should just hook you up anyways, and then if you want to like the video, hey, you can like it anyways. But that's topic for another day. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and be ready for pendulums, because guys, they will be good and Shaddolls will be better, but we'll have to wait for that. And that's the video for another day. Actually, it's pretty much been the last couple of my videos, me just talking about how I love Shaddolls so much, and it's more like just me talking about how good they are. But anyways, like I said, that's topic for another day. But anyways, yeah, pendulums will be good, guys. You just have to wait for them to be introduced, you know, slowly, and then they'll eventually make something really good. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes signing out.